Hotelier on the Grill.
Good evening, this is Hotelier on the Grill and I'm Stuart J. Raj and we're here today with one of Bangkok's youngest GMs, Mr. Zaki Bazz. Rather than me introducing you, maybe you could just give a few words to introduce yourself briefly, but not too much. We'll go into that deeper through the questions in the interview.
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Zaki Bazz, Syrian, and 34 years old, living in Thailand for 8 years almost. This is my first job in Asia. Before that, I was in Middle East, moved to Thailand in 2006. Here I am, still in Thailand for the 8 years.
For 8 years now. Now, Hotelier on the Grill, we have 12 questions, standard questions for everybody, but it's up to you how you answer them. And the key is to find out who you are as the hotelier. It's not brand specific. So we'll get into the first question. Question number 1, where did you cut your teeth?
First, I started at a hotel school in Syria, 1997, after the high school graduation. And my family own a 5-star hotel chain in Syria. So this job is by generation. I start my first job at Semiramis Hotel, Damascus, as guest relation officer at the front desk.
So that was your first entry into the hotel. It was in the family.
First job, right.
And so when you were working with them, then maybe that's one in the same thing. But what was your first big break?
My uncle, whom I work with for almost 13 years, he's from the old hotelier school. He believed in food and beverage very much. So his main point was to put me in the F&B department. So I learned the hotel. He doesn't believe the hotel GM who doesn't practice F&B. So after 6 months at the front desk, I moved to the kitchen. It was an Italian restaurant for 8 months. And after I burned all my fingers by the oven, I decided, no, I don't like it. So I moved to the sales and marketing department and back again to the F&B department for the catering. And I stayed there for almost 6 years, catering director, and moved back to sales and marketing. My first big jump was in 2003 when I was recruited vice president sales and marketing for five-star hotels in Syria, Lebanon, and Dubai. I was 23 years old.
So that was a big jump.
That was a big jump and the most challenging job I had and the most fun one.
The most fun.
Yes.
And so this leads into our next question. Question number 3 then. At such a young age, somebody saw something in you. Why were you able to make it to where you are and where you did make it back then, where other people maybe failed or they didn't have that opportunity?
Some hoteliers or some people or any kind of business, in any kind of business, people believe in step by step or in experience or practicing in certain position and growing up. Frankly speaking, I do not believe in that. I believe in creativity. I believe when you love something, you can deliver without any kind of experience. I do not believe in experience because this is not the key for success. Sometimes you may have bad experience in something and it cannot be translated to a good result in our 2013 or the 21st century. So when you have 20 years experience and you come to translate it in our days to success, it may not work. But if you bring somebody young with a fresh mind and fresh experience and knowledge how to do it and the way you do it, I think experience it's slowing people down. And when I come to Thailand, I think the company first recruited me is TCC Hotel Management, which is under TCC Land. It's the biggest company in Asia. Also, the CEO believed in young people. This was my first GM also, my first GM position. And the hotel was 4-star. We had great success. We've been also number 3 or 4 on TripAdvisor among 800 hotels in Bangkok.
Now that's fascinating. Experience, it could be a bad experience. So it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be beneficial.
And I think I'm a bit lucky.
And so in saying that, and even looking now at everything that's going on, I'm sure that it's not all positive all the way. The next question, number 4, tell us about your darkest moment in your career.
My darkest moment in my career, it was when we had to shut down Dubai Hotel and sell it off. I've been pushed to fire 200 plus employees, and one of them was my uncle.
Oh no!
Of course, he's back to Syria to work with us, but this is the worst moment. Yeah.
I guess this is a
We
good
work
point.
with the people for a long time. You know, they know me when I was kid, coming to the hotel to have a lunch or dinner, and become the moment when I become their boss and have to fire him or fire her.
So this leads into the next question then, question number 5. How did you get through that?
In business, which is I don't like, you have to treat people in business wise. You cannot involve your emotional and relationship, which is not nice. The moment you get more attached to people, will be more harder to work with them. And the moment the people get attached to you, it's harder to leave them or they leave you. So I think time can solve everything, and it's solved by time. Now everybody have a good career, everybody moved on, everybody.
But at that time, it was tough.
At that time it was tough, yeah, we have to shut down the hotel, so we have no choice.
So for the next question, number 6 then, what drives you?
My mom and my son, this will drive me.
So they're the thing that push you on every day.
You asked me first question. Before I get the big jump, I never liked to go to hotel school. So I had a girlfriend. Maybe it's not the same. Shouldn't talk about this. It's not one of the question. So it was 3 5-star hotel in Damascus. So every time I walk by the Meridian, it was my school is next to behind the Meridian Hotel. I tell my girlfriend, one day I'll be GM and I manage this hotel. So my uncle was too tough. So he always pressure and put me in the difficult job to learn the details, because he told me, you don't want anyone in the future to come and bullshit you. You must know what those people are doing. Not junior people come and bullshit you on their job. You must know what they are doing. And in fact, I know now all the hotel what they are doing in small position or big position. So I think my uncle was my godfather. He's the one who really encouraged me and pushed me to arrive to this place now where I am.
That's interesting, because I know you haven't seen these questions, but question number 7 is, do you have a mentor? And if so, who and why?
There's so many people. One of them, of course, is my uncle, who passed away in 2011.
Is this is not the same uncle you had to fire?
It's the same. No. This is the youngest one. So this is my uncle who I worked with him for a long time. I think he is a hotel guru in Syria or Middle East. And second person, my current boss, which I'm working for him already for almost 6 years. Both gentlemen, they are real gentlemen. They are real hoteliers. They always teach and listen. In the end of the day, and at the young age, you need somebody in your back as a backup, because you won't be wise enough.
Right. So can you tell us about an experience in your career that's really made you proud?
In 2006, when I came to Thailand, I told you I recruited by TCC Land to open first 2 hotels for them. And the brand is 2 hotels called IMM Hotels. And I was 26 years old. So in Bangkok, to be general manager at this age, my pride. And when I moved to Compass, I opened the first hotel for, it was Prison Park Group those days. So Prison Palace was the first hotel also, and was the flagship of Compass those days. Also, I was like 27 years old. So you can hear it in the market. Some people will say Compass recruited a kid to manage the hotel. And after 1 year at Prison Palace also, we achieved number 2 on TripAdvisor among it was almost also 800 hotels in Bangkok. And in fact, we were running the best occupancy performance in Sukhumvit Road, maybe Bangkok, for 2 years. No doubt.
From a 27-year-old GM.
No doubt, yeah. Yes.
Well, I guess that backs up your theory on experience too.
I think the personal pride moment, it's when I separated from my family And when you are success with your family business, people will look at you as, yeah, you are successful because you work with your family. But thank God I proved myself that even with international company, I can be also success. It's nothing related to the family business.
And so, question number 9, what's the best advice that you could give somebody who's looking to be a good GM?
I don't see it. I don't see a successful GM or not successful GM. I look at the hotel like it's a movie. And sometimes you are the star, sometimes you are in big movie, sometimes you are in small movie. Successful GM, first, of course, a good leader. Second is nothing is enough. Has nothing to be enough for him. I mean, not enough cleanliness, not enough occupancy, not enough room rate, not enough. So always must be more and more and more and more. The moment any GM, I believe, will satisfy with what they have, it will become boring. It will become routine job, especially in the hotel. And an advice for the GM to be a successful GM must recruit a department heads who's smarter and better than him.
So question number 10 is then, on the other side, what's one thing that hotel GMs shouldn't get wrong, or that you've seen GMs get wrong?
Many hotel GMs, mistake they do, they don't keep the balance between the hotel itself and the staff and the guest. So it's a human run business. So the moment you deal with those human, they are robots and they have to do the job because they paid for, the hotel will fail. And this is the biggest mistake GM can do. The moment you care about your people and your property more than you care about anything else, then the guests will be happy because they can feel it.
No, that's a very good summary, and I think it supports the thing that nearly all the GMs we've spoken have mentioned in this. Question 11, it's the last question in the main body of questions. If you were not in the hotel industry, what is your ideal alternate career?
Fashion and jewelry, yeah.
Expand?
It's my dream to one day I have my own fashion brand, jewelry and clothing. So.
And I see you, wherever you go, you're always wearing your suit, your tie, nice tie.
Yeah, I like it.
Well groomed.
So, yeah, I wish one day I can do it.
Fantastic.
And related to the hotel now, since all the hotels they have a Bulgari hotel, Armani hotel, and whatever. So one day I have my own brand, which is I'm working on it for the last 8 years. A hotel brand. Started from the spoon up to the room, up to the pool, up to the uniform, up to everything. And I wish one day I'll be able to build this hotel.
And I'm sure we'll see that happen, seeing your determination. Zaki, this has been amazing hearing your experience from all of this. We've finished the main body of questions about the hotel, but our last question gives us an opportunity to see just another side of the hoteliers. So straight from another direction, question number 12, what's one app on your phone, on your iPad, that you're currently hooked on or that you're using that you would recommend?
One app. Social app or whatever.
Yeah, anything. What's one app that you're always finding yourself using? Could be anything.
Facebook app. Yeah.
Facebook.
It's crazy. Especially in Syria situation, I'm all the time on it. So
with the situation in Syria. Yeah.
Probably if no situation in Syria, I won't be attached to it. But it's become the fastest source for news. Therefore, I use it all the time.
So you keep up to date on Facebook with the Syrian...
Yeah, it seems better than CNN or all the fake news.
No, that's wonderful. Okay, Zaki, this has been a lot of fun talking to you, and it's the first time that I've been able to really hear your history and see how you've made it to where you are today. I'm sure it's going to inspire many people who are out there looking to be successful GMs, and even people who are going to hotel school now, to hear how you've made it at this young age. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for spending time with us and sharing your history with you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hotelier on the Grill.